City of Demons contains potentially triggering content, including car accidents, death, harsh language, violence, and weapons. Please listen with discretion.
Greetings, programs. In our last episode, Gwen and Brett entered the Black on Black into the Reclamation Derby. Now, they must find a way to copy Level 3 access from Devil, the champion of the games. This is City of Demons. Episode 9, Fault Tolerance.
So Flo pulls out and is driving along, and almost immediately you have a couple of light cycles that start trailing right behind you. One of them pulls out a pistol and takes a shot at you. It misses you, but these two light cycles are still following close behind.
All right. Well, I'm going to shoot him and be like, that's what you get when you bring a light cycle to a demolition derby. So I'm going to try and shoot at them. 15.
Okay, 15 is a hit that you score against them. All right, so how much damage does your rifle do?
23.
You take a chunk out of the front end of the light cycle, and the front tire just kind of blows off, and it just like screeches into the ground. And the rider is suddenly encapsulated into a protective bubble as the bike just kind of like slides out from under them and dissolves into a fine mist of bits. You, before you started this, they gave you all armbands that you wear around you, and what you were told was that if your vehicle is over 50% destroyed, then a protective shield will automatically engage, because it's assumed at that point that your vehicle's going to be non-usable anymore. And so if you take like a massive hit, or you're involved in a really big, serious car accident, then you yourself will be protected. Now, it's possible that you could get thrown out of your vehicle and it's still operating and you're not protected by that bubble. Like I said, they do what they can to try to keep programs from getting derez, but it is still inherently a dangerous activity, and you can take damage before that gets activated, if that makes sense.
So that guy was lucky that...
Is this arena called the Recycle Bin?
The Recycle Bin.
Or the Trash Can. I forget what it was in 97, but anyway.
Mist of Bits should be like the Pure Moods album.
Yeah. So there's a pile of bits that's kind of just like laying on the ground right now, and you see the other rider on the light cycle has a glowing, but like an orange glowing baton similar to the one that you have, and they kind of like ride through the pile, and they're holding their baton down, and they're like scooping up bits as they're going. So this is the reclamation part of the reclamation derby. When vehicles get blown apart, they're going and collecting those bits now. So you can have Flo turn around to go back and try to collect them, or you could just keep on going.
I think right now we should probably keep on going. I see that the sort of like inherent flaw in this is if we do remain in the front, then I'm not going to be doing much of anything. But I do assume that we'll have to probably retread at some points, maybe cross paths with things that have been.
And there'll be bits here and there from other people are destroying each other too.
Yes, exactly my point.
And even if we don't do a lot of crazy damage up front, all the big fish are going to eat the little fish and absorb. So really, it's the same amount of bits are still in play, just shifting from,
Right.
Yep. Okay. So you are continuing to ride along, and Flo is pulling up. She kind of like goes up the side of a wall and starts to go around one of the tanks that is driving along. So you have an opportunity here to take an action against it if you would like.
Absolutely. I mean, if we're going past it, may as well. 13.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
28.
Okay. There is a spray of bits that just flies off from your shot landing solidly against this tank, and Flo is kind of turns a little bit to drive through it. So, Gwen, are you going to attempt to pick any of these up?
I am.
Okay.
Can you describe to me how this harness situation is arranged?
Sure. So, you're sitting in the chair and you have like a 5-point harness that is holding you on. So you can unclip that if you want and sort of like lean over the edge of the car. But obviously there's a risk associated with that.
And I'm going to take it.
Okay.
So, but what stat is that risk? I wonder.
So if Gwen had to like, or if Flo had to like take, emergency evasive maneuvers or something, then you would have to make probably an acrobatics roll to hold on.
This is going to be very risky for me, actually. We'll see if this is something I ever want to do again, because it's a 2D thing for me.
Okay.
And I rolled a 4. Exciting.
All right. Well, fortunately, like I said, it's a spray of bits that are up in the air, so you're kind of just you're using your reclamation function to just kind of like pull them out of the air to you. So let's see. With
like if you rise up out of your seat for a little bit and you just realize like, whoa, okay, no, we're going way faster than I thought. Like
you just like stand up and you just like hold your arms out, and the bits, they're just like falling into you, and you're just like, oh, this is so nice. Kind of effervescent.
It's like a rain stick, at the nature company.
Yeah, definitely don't want to lean outside. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to climb on the outside of the vehicle. Like,
I should have
go for it. Sure.
I should have
with 2 dice.
I should have expanded my installed function somehow before doing this.
I know we looked into that, but that was the risky part.
Yeah. So what's the range on like my, let's say, bit suction?
Your bit suction?
Yeah.
So it is in about a 5-meter bubble around you.
Okay.
And it's similar to like in a video game where you get close to items and they just like float
coins.
into you.
Yeah.
So when you're activating this function, that's kind of what's happening. Your body kind of shimmers for a moment, and the memory bits just kind of like float to you. So they spray up from the tank, and then they just whoosh, like suck into your body as you're driving through them. And they kind of come down, they center into your chest, and they form into like a small cube that you can then grab out of the air and put into your pack or belt or whatever.
Outstanding.
Wherever you keep your bits.
Yeah. And how will I know when I can do something with them, when I have enough to build something from them?
So the bits themselves are the currency.
Right.
As users, you can fashion them into various things. You could also just like steal weapons or components off of other vehicles. So if you had a mind to try to steal the turret off of the tank, you could devise a plan, come up to do that. And then if you were able to like get that wholly off of the tank, then you could sort of like mount it onto your own vehicle.
Gotcha.
But you just kind of had to tell me like what your objective is, and then we'll come up with a good test for it.
Sounds good. Okay.
How's your throwing? Oh, you don't have throwing. Okay.
I can if I get this stuff, I can do the thing. That's my expertise.
I was gonna say,
getting the stuff though, that's
right.
tricky.
So you have like a Rubik's Cube size thing?
Yeah.
Can you turn it into a grenade?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably
because my
very feasible.
My throwing is better than my marksman.
I see. Okay.
All right.
Be like,
so
pull,
28,
dink.
28 points of damage to a tank, and so you get about 2 kilobits worth of memory off of that blast.
Okay. Cool. Is that enough to make a grenade?
All right, let's just say that a grenade costs 500 bits of the base cost is 500 bits.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want, you can add bits to exponentially increase the blast radius or the amount of damage that it's doing. So by default, it is sort of a small contained blast of maybe about 10 meters or so. And let's say that it does 5 dice worth of damage to everything that is in that area. But if you want to spend extra bits to enhance either the radius or the damage, then you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, let's at least double that. So what do you say for 1,000 bits would be 5D of damage?
The base is 5D of damage. So if you want to do
10 would be 10D.
So yeah, a kilobit would be probably 8 dice worth of damage because it gets more expensive the larger that it gets. If that makes sense.
Sure.
But it's to everything that's in.
It's just weird to write down
radius. 500
megabytes. It's just funny.
I have really got to think about things differently. I'm using a little calculator here to help me keep track of this.
Well, whatever Gwen wants to make me, I'll throw, or I'll just keep shooting.
Well, I'm gonna get a little overzealous with this now that I've got it, and you're like, hey, give me something to throw, and I'm like, okay, interesting. So I take the wrench and I start converting the bytes, and it's like, you know what? Let me just ramp this up, so it's what was it? You said 1,000 bits to make a grenade,
to make a
make
leveled
an
up
8D,
one.
Yeah. Okay.
Level 2 grenade.
Yeah. So I'm pumping it all into there. It's all like the 2,000 bits that we just picked up effectively.
You making a level 4 grenade?
Yeah, I'm like Brett, this is a super bomb.
Super bomb. Then I don't want to throw it.
Are you wanting to enhance the damage or the range on it?
The range.
Range?
Yeah. So if there's multiple targets, then
sure.
Yeah, if we're getting pursued by a bunch of people, we throw this
so we're
down.
Save this for a big bada boom.
Right now, there's a lot of people on the field, and if your throw is real good, then maybe we can, start a fire somewhere, a reasonable distance away from us.
Just tell me how far away I got. How far?
You could also fashion it into a mine that you throw behind the
drop
car
it, yeah.
and
just take
whatever
a bunch
runs over it
take
explodes.
one bit each, turn it into caltrops, and just James Bond it out the back. Nah, I don't get too complicated. I'm just it's all fun ideas, is what I'm.
There's
saying.
a lot of complicated stuff happening in game time, real fucking fast. So okay, yeah. I have made. I think in this case, I'm gonna make something that you can arm, you can drop, or you can throw, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we, just time how long we got. It's got a 30-second fuse on it. So
30 seconds.
I don't know, a minute. How long do grenades last? I don't know.
What?
Yeah,
5 seconds.
I've got the wrench plugged into it. How long do you want it to go?
How about just on impact?
On impact. Okay, cool. So let's see, sensor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you've got 5 seconds to throw it before it'll be sensitive to
Sure.
whatever.
Sure.
So don't hold on to this fucking thing, okay?
Okay. But hold on to it until you throw it. Oh, what?
And I give you the unarmed super grenade.
Okay. I'll wait.
I imagine this looks like the sticky grenade in Halo. You throw it and
it
sticks
glows.
onto people.
I was actually thinking about that, but since the first time I encountered a sticky bomb was GoldenEye, which I think we saw on the floor at E3, and I don't know if we have a frame of reference for. And but love me a sticky bomb.
Sure. Okay, so you've got the bomb. You have the grenade now, Brett. And what do you all want to attempt to do with this?
I guess look towards the center of the arena, see if there's like a big pileup happening, and maybe people who've crashed together, but they haven't disintegrated yet, but they're maybe spinning out, kind of like wherever the highest concentration of programs that are clustered together.
We're going to get ourselves a combo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you look towards the center of the arena, and you see two of the light runners are they're driving side by side. They're exchanging glancing blows off of each other. And one of the tanks takes a shot at them and hits one. And it kind of like collapses to the ground. The other light runner like ramps off of it and jumps up and like sort of lands upside down. So both of these vehicles are kind of here sitting in the center. Then a light cycle, someone riding a light cycle rides up, pulls their disc out, and starts to like cut a piece off of one of the light runners that's on the ground. And then the tank is also making its way over towards the center to try to harvest some of these bits.
Okay. So if it's a good, like, there's like several programs down there, so the range, there's a wide range on this, so let's see what happens, and hopefully I'll not roll a mistake. 24.
All right. Go ahead and roll damage, please.
15.
Okay. So, Brett, you pull your arm back and you like call your shot and you let loose this grenade that just flies not quite in the center of everything that's happening, but we'll say it lands close to the tank that is driving over to engage with them. And it explodes. And how much damage did you say?
15.
Again? 15, okay.
Good thing close only counts in horseshoes and grenades.
Pile of bits just sort of like lands all around from the explosion. And they, like, again, it's just like sort of this like fine mist of all these like little glowing cubes just like kind of sprays up into the air and then lands like little shards of glass on the ground. And the rider of the light cycle is immediately bubbled and protected. And the tank is still running along. The light runner that took the shot from the tank and was laying on the ground, the driver of that is bubbled also. And the other two vehicles are still continuing to go along. They sustained some damage, but it wasn't enough to like take them both out. So now there's all these bits that are kind of floating around. So what do you want Flo to do at this point? Just like go drive through the center of it?
So there's a tank and a light runner. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
That are both right there.
Yeah, if Flo thinks she can safely get through there. And Brett, do you think you can take out the tank before we get there with your rifle?
I mean, the closer we get, the easier target it is. So
yeah.
So just
then
start driving towards it and I'll start shooting.
Drive through and I'll get as many bits as I can.
Get the bits. All right. So Flo is going to roll her driving skill, which is piloting, to be determined. Ooh, nice roll. All right. So she got a 17 on that. So she kind of weaves in and out of all the carnage here. And let's see here. From the light cycle, you got about 200 bits. From the light runner, you got about 500 bits each. And then from the tank, you got about 1,500 bits.
Looks like 2,700 bits.
So this isn't the same tank that you hit before. This is a different one. But yeah, it took some damage, but it's not out completely. All right, so you're going along, you're sucking up bits. All of a sudden, the tank kind of like turns its turret and it takes a shot at you all. They got an 8, which, because you're so small and maneuverable, that is going to, the shot misses you.
So I'm saying, Night's Blaster.
That was close.
But as you get closer and you're going along collecting the bits, the light runner all of a sudden zooms in front of you, and it has its energy beam wall turned on. So Flo is like, hold on a second, and Ooh. So what she was attempting to do was to ramp off of the other light runner that was damaged to jump over the beam wall. But what actually happened was she ramped off of the other light runner. The wheel, the front driver's side wheel on the black on black, scraped against the beam wall and came off completely. So when you land, you're missing a wheel now, and you're kind of like scraping. Your back end is like, fishtailing back and forth, and she's struggling to keep control of the vehicle.
Okay, I got this.
I'll lean away from that missing thing to hopefully pop the weight. Ooh, got a wild die.
I did. This is gonna be fan-fucking-tastic. Okay, 35 to repair.
So you lean over the side of the black on black. You jam the wrench into the side of it. You flip through some menus and you find the wheel configuration, and you see that it's just all gone. And you manage to take some of your bits to form a new wheel. And let's say that costs you about 500 of your bits to form a new wheel for the light runner. So just after a couple seconds of spinning sort of out of control, you're back up and running again. And about this point, you hear the announcer come on.
Ramps engaged.
And so you see that some ramps begin to lift up out of the playing field here. And so there are differences in the terrain now, things that you can, perhaps use to your advantage or jump off of, things like that.
Okay, this is all the wheel repair and the ramps have all given me, and also what Flo attempted to do has given me some ideas. Whenever it is appropriate, I'm going to look into making some modifications to the car while we're in it.
Okay. So you are driving along now, and Flo has kind of returned back to her original pattern of driving around the outside of the ring. And at this point now, there's another light cycle that has 2 riders on it. And it zooms up beside you and is trying to get up in front of you.
Well, I'm going to stop that. Okay, let me try the old rifle here. 20.
Okay. All right, so your 20, you managed to get a shot off, and you hit the light cycle with the 2 riders on it. So go ahead and roll your damage for that.
22.
22. All right. The light cycle takes a significant hit. This one looks different though. This isn't like the other light cycles. This one is bigger, beefier. It has some armor plating on it. But you do sort of enough damage to it that it has to kind of fall back. But before that happens, one of the person who is riding on it, who's not driving it, sort of like leaps off of it and leaps onto the hood of your car, of the black on black, and is sort of like riding along with you now. And
that's cute.
is the protocol? I just can't shoot that guy. That's murder. That's like I think if he's on the hood.
Yeah. Well, I've got a baton which I turn on, and
there you go.
And I've got this bungee cord attached to me. So I'm not good at acrobatics, but I'm gonna try to bash this guy in the face.
Okay. Go for it.
Should I roll acrobatics first?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll acrobatics to move into position.
Oh, hell.
Why would you ask to roll acrobatics first when you have 2 dice? One of them is a wild, and that means bad. That's bad.
It's very bad. I got a 1 on the wild. It's a 4 total.
Okay.
He's going to sweep your leg, and you're going to be in the airborne.
I'm just trying to be honest.
So you go to sort of stand up and move into position to swipe at this thing with this person with your baton. As you do that, you see the person who landed on your hood, they engage a function, and all of a sudden, gravity for you all in your immediate area reverses, and you start to like fall upwards.
Just us or the entire vehicle?
Just you all. And the vehicle. Too. So you are all of a sudden accelerating pretty quickly upside down towards the roof of this thing. And you realize that if you don't do something, you're going to smash into the ceiling. Yeah, and probably break your car apart.
Burp, Charlie, burp!
Shit, okay. Is it possible for me to make something that gives us our own center of gravity? So if we're headed towards the top, then the top can be our bottom and like it can sort of like adjust things. I mean, like, can I turn this in? Can I convert this into something from Mario Kart 8?
Well, you would need some way to slow your acceleration towards the top because, I mean, the ceiling now is your ground.
Gotcha.
To you.
What about a grappling hook to connect us to the ground that we're rising from?
Yeah, something like a bungee cord that you just like fire.
And we would be like a balloon tied to the ground.
Yes, we would be like a balloon tied to the ground until we fix the problem, and when it's over, we can then use this harpoon to Captain Ahab other people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make a tech roll to make that happen.
All right. Jesus fucking Christ! I rolled another wild die, the bad kind.
The rest of it's a good roll though.
It's a 19.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, you're like struggling. You're trying to get something like this sorted out, and it just it's just escaping you in the spur of the moment as you're like falling essentially upside down and kind of panicking here a little bit. Flo is actually going to kind of like leans forward over the steering wheel and like grabs onto the other program's face, and you see like an energy transfer come into her hand. And she like pulls back and disassembles the car. Then you all kind of like flip around and to where you're oriented correctly and you're falling correctly. And she reassembles it under you so that you're falling the right way now. And you land on the tires correctly, and the person that was grabbing onto your car has like kind of like fallen away and like landed off. So now you're riding along on the ceiling, and Flo kind of like reaches back to like give you a high five.
Oh, so we can get this gravity function?
Yes.
Well then, I will high five that gravity function.
So she gives you a grav shift function, which allows you to reverse localized gravity.
At first I'm like, why are you high-fiving at a time like, oh, I get it.
Okay. So what happened was that she disassembled the car. We were free falling for a second. She reassembled the car, and now our gravity is inverted. Like we're on the ceiling.
Correct. Yeah, you're driving on the ceiling. Right. But when she reassembled the car, it was the correct way to where you would land on the wheels and not like upside down.
Is anyone else driving on the ceiling?
All right, you see there are a couple of light crawlers that are riding around up here, and there are the two riders that are on them are holding rifles, and they're taking pot shots at some of the other vehicles below.
Okay, then if they're not looking at us, then let's get up and be like, Flo, get up on them! And I'm just going to try and shoot at them as we get in closer. They're probably not expecting a vehicle to come driving up as fast as we can go.
And I'm going to go ahead and cook up 2 basic 1000-bit grenades for Brett also.
All right, so you're going to take a shot at one of them, then?
Man,
all right.
Well. Ooh. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, we've got a good die.
A good wild die? Awesome.
So I got a 28 total.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
22.
All right, you take a blast off of the light crawler, and another spray of bits kind of falls off of it. And then also at this point, too, you notice Devil's Recognizer floats up, turns towards the 2 light crawlers, and it fires its massive cannons at the 2 of them and just like blows them apart right before you ride kind of through. So it blows them apart. The 2 riders that were up there get bubbled, and you're riding through just a spray of bits that have been sort of like cleared by Devil's Recognizer.
That was nice of him.
Real stand-up guy, I'm sure. Where did you learn to shoot so good, Brett?
7-Eleven.
What, like Marty McFly?
Flo's like, who's Marty McFly?
He's a cool guy. Don't worry about it.
All right, how many bits did I get?
All right, so you got, between the two of them, 1 kilobit.
Cool.
All right. And then also, so Devil now has kind of like flown through the cloud also. And you kind of look back and you see like the bits that you didn't pick up just gets sucked into the front of the recognizer. And then all of a sudden it kind of like turns towards you and starts to follow you along.
I was worried about that.
The top here. Yeah.
Now, theoretically, we're still on the ceiling, right? We're on the...
Yes.
So in theory, throwing a grenade that Gwen gives me is just going to drop down to the
yeah, once it sort of leaves your localized area.
Right. So let's not worry about, I was going to say, can't really worry too much about grenade stuff until we get back on ground level. I mean, if you make it, but I'm just saying, like, can't throw them or drop mines or anything like that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That sucks. Okay. But what if I reconstituted the grenades, like, and used whatever spare bits I might need to modify what I've already got here?
I mean, save it for when we lose a wheel. I mean, because we may as well. I mean, like, I don't know if we should just tell Flo, because if he's on us now,
right? We
tell
gotta
Flo to
haul
get,
ass.
like, well, just get us back into the fight, get us back into the thick of it.
You tell Flo that.
Like, Flo, just if the we got Devil's attention, just get us back down to ground level. Let's get lost on the maze down
where
there.
You can follow somebody else.
Yeah.
You got it. And she kind of starts to drive what appears to be, to you, like up a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she kind of like holds her hand up, and you see the light that she had absorbed from the other program flashes briefly, and then all of a sudden gravity is back to normal for you again. And so you start to drive up the wall, and then all of a sudden you're driving down the wall.
That's an odd sensation.
And then you kind of like loop around. Yeah, so it's an odd sensation for you, to be sure. But now you're kind of back at the regular ground level again. And you kind of like look up and you see you're like, driving under the recognizer now. And it kind of has to like lumbering like turn and then kind of start to come back down again. And it lands back on its wheels and kind of gets back into the thick of it again. All of a sudden you hear the announcer come on again.
Procedural shift activated.
And you see now that there are glowing orbs that have appeared in a couple different places along the field. And they have icons on them that sort of represent a speed boost or...
Find the blue shell!
There's yeah. There's one that looks interesting to you that has sort of like double chevrons on it.
Interesting. Flo, what's the double chevron pointy thing?
She looks over to see what you're talking about, and she says, "That's a field reclinator function. It's used to punch holes in fields."
Brett, I still don't understand that. Do you understand that? Should I understand that? Should I roll attack to understand that?
Shields? I'm guessing if someone's got a shield, we punch a hole through it.
Oh, I thought Flo said fields. My bad. Okay, it's good. I understand now.
She did, but they're kind of the same thing. Fields, shields.
Okay. Well, shit. Cool. Get one of those if it makes sense. And if we hit one of those ramps, how much air would we get? Can we handle it?
Yeah, I think so. She's like, hey,
yeah?
Maybe we should try to get one of the beam generators off of one of the light cycles or light runners.
That's a great idea. Okay. I like very trepidatiously like get into place to like grab on the side of the car and like be ready to like hop out and touch something.
Reach out and touch something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, whenever the opportunity permits, I will do that.
You feel like you could use your identity disc to like cut like a buzzsaw to cut things off of vehicles too.
Okay. That's exciting. I will absolutely do that.
Don't lose it.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
get in close to a light cycle, and Brett, if you could distract it with like some kind of like either covering fire or maybe just like shoot to disable it, so I can get in there and get that feature off of it.
I mean, if I shoot it, won't he try and get away? Or maybe can I shoot to disable, maybe to slow it down, maybe like shoot it. Would it make sense for me to try and shoot a wheel out? Does that make any kind of sense in this world?
Yeah, I mean that's what you did with the first.
Yeah. Let me give that a go. Let's just see what happens. We can pick another one.
You did it by accident once. Do it on purpose this time.
Yeah.
Called shot.
Just be like, I just want to try and hit like a wheel, like maybe the back wheel, so it won't explode, but slow it down enough so we can get close. Not great, but not terrible. 13.
All right, so you take a shot. You're trying to hit the back wheel of a light cycle. All right, you go to take the shot, and unfortunately, Flo, she kind of like pulls the wheel, it kind of jerks it just last second. Your shot misfires, and it flies past the light cycle. And the rider of the light cycle kind of looks back, and they pull out their identity disc. They kind of get up next to you. They turn on, and then they essentially brake really hard, so that you go and like fly past, and they cut a deep gash into your into the black on black. And
he scratched the car.
And it does 17 points of damage to the armor siding or whatever of the black on black. And so it takes a pretty good gash out of it, and bits kind of like spray up behind you. And
Wait, grab him.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
And you see that this light cycle has it has one of the chevron-looking fields on the front of it, and it's like glowing orange, and it's sucking up the bits as it's driving through them.
Okay, so I'm in a good position to try to do some repair work. I don't know if I have enough, but I also, you said we lost 17 points of damage. How much do we have to begin with?
So you have 50
okay.
Body points or whatever, car points.
We gotta start.
We gotta
start adding on top of that.
Yeah, we really do. I like to roll to repair if that's appropriate right now.
Of course, yeah. Go for it.
Man, I looked at your sheet. Your repair is literally your best skill. So you are, and then make sure you remember to add your the +2.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway,
which I probably didn't do that before.
But hey, it didn't matter because the rolls were so amazing before.
Yeah.
Add the pips.
Okay, so yeah, 35.
All right, so 35 was for your repair. And how many bits do you currently have?
1,500.
1,500. Okay. All right, so you repair 15. Are you putting all of that into repairing the armor? So you can repair up to 15 points of damage to it with what you have.
So we're at 48. We're all right.
Okay.
We're out of bits.
So you run the wrench along the side of it, and it's like you're just buffing it right out. You're just. All right, so Brett, what would you like to do? Would you like to take another shot at the light cycle?
Because if he speeds up, it gives us more trouble, and then so and he's got the light beam that we wanted, right? That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So let me do that. Ooh, wild die.
The wild die or the mild die?
26.
And again.
Oh gosh.
Do it again.
28 total.
All right, roll your damage.
21.
So you do 21 points of damage, aiming for the front wheel or back wheel. Back wheel, you said.
Whichever's
right?
closest to me at this point. Just one of the wheels.
Yeah, it'd be the front wheel if it fell behind you. You do that, and the front wheel kind of blasts apart. There's a cloud spray of bits, and the rider flies off of it because the bike kind of just the front end of it goes down to the ground. The rider flies off of it, and right as that sort of happens, one of the other light runners that is jumping off of a ramp just smashes into the program that was flying through the air, and he reses them. But the light cycle is just kind of like crashes and like lays down on the ground amongst this this pile of bits that was there also.
Flo, quick, peel back to there.
She makes a hard U-turn and pulls the emergency brake and does a J-turn, zooms back, and yeah, kind of pulls up beside it and stops there for a moment. And she says, "We can't wait here long. We got to get going."
I hop out real quick and I like jam my identity disc into the thing and take whatever I can from it.
Okay. You see a little module that is sitting on the back of the light cycle. And you pull out your identity disc and you just kind of like cut into it and delicately enough to get the complete module off of it. And then you jump back into the Night Splicer, or the Black on Black. And while you're doing that, all of a sudden your old friend Devil is lining up their shot again. And they pop one off, but you jump back into the car and Flo peels out and gets out of the way just as a shot sort of lands right where you were standing.
Holy shit.
Blowing apart what remained of the light cycle.
Oh shit.
Did you get any bits while you were out there?
That's a good question.
Did you activate your reclamation
well,
function?
you were focused on getting the cutting this, yeah,
the field reclamation.
Cutting into the thing.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, like, I assumed that if I was like, you know, waltzing through some bits, that I would like be getting the bits. But if I needed to like really like call that, then I guess I didn't.
I think you were probably focused on just getting the piece off of the.
Okay.
Well then, as Flo peels away, can I just take a shot? I'm not expecting to do crazy damage, but just like, oh shit, it shot at us. Well, may as well maybe pepper him a bit and see if that, you know.
Sure.
Just,
yeah.
Go
for it.
Oh, fuck's sake. We're bound to have him.
We have a bad one.
It's a bad one. Not only is it a bad one, it's a bad roll.
Yeah, everything's bad.
I mean, but hey, that's not. At least I'm not like dangling off the side of the car. I'm just taking a shot. So that's for 10, but with a critical fail on the wild eye.
Gwen jumps back into the car. You're swinging around to take a shot. The shot just misses you. Flo starts to, trying to drive off, but she is surprised by the shot that you've taken. She hits a bump, kind of a ramp, catches it at a surprising angle, and she ends up getting thrown from the car.
Flo does?
Yeah.
Fuck. I race ahead to the. I guess like how far is she? Do we see where she's thrown?
Yeah, she kind of like lands outside of the car and is like, rolling several times, and she kind of like stands back up and is just like looking around. And so the Black on Black is rolling along now, and it doesn't have a driver.
Who's closest to the wheel?
I'm one dice better, so I'm gonna be like, fuck it, and just run and jump and climb in.
Go ahead and make an acrobatics
Okay.
check.
16.
Okay, you managed to get into the driver's seat.
I don't know if I need to do piloting, which isn't great, but
Well, what do you want to do?
I want to get control of it and then try and spin around and head back to Flo so she can get back in the vehicle, or maybe, because I guess throwing it in reverse isn't the best option. But
Now the good news is he only has 3 dice to roll for here.
But I did roll a wild die, so
Yep.
so that's okay. That's 12, 16.
All right, so you turn around, and Flo is kind of like panicking a little
Sure.
bit, and you see Devil's Recognizer is sort of like bearing down on her. It's not trying to aim directly at her, but it's kind of like aiming in the general
Well,
vicinity.
and if we're getting closer, then yeah.
Right.
Like if I maybe do a killer drive roll, and Gwen, maybe you can spend character points to your athletics to reach out and grab her, like we just scoop her up.
Yeah, I absolutely want to do that, especially if I can I'm on a bungee cord after all, so I just have to get to her, and if you need to you can hit the ripcord and like I can jump and pull us back. It could be really rough. We can get banged up, but we'd be alive.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm spending 2 character points, rolling a total of 4 dice, and hopefully I don't fuck up. I fucked up real bad. It is a total of 6, 5, 11, 12, and a bad wild die.
You go to jump out in this heroic moment to grab Flo, and you do manage to catch on to her, but right as you do, Devil blasts the black on black with its big laser cannon, and the 3 of you all are just immediately bubbled.
Combatant black on black eliminated. Thanks for listening to City of Demons. Head to patreon.com/Omniverse Media to support this and other surprise RPG experiences. Also, join the Omniverse Discord server at omniverse.media/Discord.